Good morning, this is Rachel Ariana, and today I'm bringing you a makeup video where I created this soft everyday makeup look using all drugstore makeup that I picked up at Walmart a couple of days ago. If you would like to see how I created this makeup look, keep on watching. Okay, so I am going to prep my skin by using the Lancome Le Base Pro Makeup Primer. I know that this is not drugstore, so some of the primers I use are a little bit high end. However, the makeup that I applied today is all drugstore from Walmart. So I'm just going ahead and taking one pump of the Lancome Le Base Pro Makeup Primer and just putting it on my face and of course smoothing it on my skin. Next, I am using my Photo Finish Hydrating Under Eye Primer by Smashbox. I really love this primer for under the eye, especially for mature eyes. It really helps with any fine lines or crepiness, especially since I do set my under eyes with powder each time I use concealer. So those are the only two primers that I have used that are not drugstore. Now moving on to my drugstore makeup. So now I'm using my Milani eyeshadow primer. So this is a drugstore product. I really love this and it does a great job with the eyeshadow in terms of helping it last all day and creating a smooth, nice canvas for the eyeshadow to be applied, and it also helps with the blending of the eyeshadow very, very well. Now on to my complexion. I am using e.l.f.'s CC Camo Cream in Fair 150 Cool with Peachy Undertones. Next, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Duo Complexion Brush, which e.l.f. suggests be used with the CC Camo Cream. To smooth out any brush marks or lines in the makeup, I go ahead and do an extra step of taking a beauty blender type sponge and just bouncing it onto the foundation to really set it into the skin and give it a much smoother look. I don't like to use brushes by themselves because I can see the brush strokes in them, especially as I'm looking in my 5-time magnifying mirror, as you see here. But as soon as I just bounce that makeup into my skin with the beauty sponge, it really helps to press it into the skin and smooth out the entire look. Next, I go in with the CC Concealer. I got it in the fairest, which I think is Fair Rose. You will see that it is far too light for my skin, but I was able to fix it and I will show you how I did that. Even though the color was far too light, from what I saw of the concealer, I actually really liked the consistency of it and the way that it really grabbed onto the skin, but it didn't grab on in a bad way. Once I smoothed it out, I could see that this would actually be a very nice high performing concealer. So I used the other end of the dual complexion brush to help just smooth it out a bit. And then of course I looked at it and I was like, oh my goodness, this is far too light, but I did fix it and you'll see what I did for that. And just like with my foundation, I went ahead and I used a beauty blender sponge to go ahead and smooth it out, any of the brush strokes underneath the eye. To fix the mistake of having such a light under eye concealer, I went ahead and got a little bit more of the Camo Cream foundation and just put a little bit between my fingers and then blended that out underneath the eye with the Duo brush, and then finally smoothed it out with my beauty blender. And then to set the under eye, I use my all-time favorite setting powder, the e.l.f. HD Translucent Powder, which I used a beauty sponge to press the powder into the skin. Now that my complexion is complete, I'm going to move on to my eyes. So I purchased the new Milani Gilded Nude palette, eyeshadow palette, as well as some new Real Techniques brushes. I will link them in the description box below. First, I went into Offline as a transition shade and took a crease brush and worked it into the crease. So my eyes are something I really spend a lot of time on because I have asymmetrical eyes, and extremely asymmetrical eyes. My eye that I'm currently working on is my left eye. That eye is actually the more open and less hooded eye, and that eye is very easy to get the look that I want. It's my right eye that I have to really work on. So a tip for anyone with asymmetrical eyes, start with the eye that is less hooded, the one that you are trying to make your more hooded eye look like. So you could see now I'm going over and I'm creating a crease where my crease isn't in my right eye to match my left eye with that transition shade. I've also found, as I've tried different techniques for my asymmetrical eyes, if I kind of look down as opposed to straight into a mirror, looking down as I apply my crease color actually helps and works better than looking directly into the mirror or straight on into the mirror. Now that I have created the creases where I wanted in both of my asymmetrical eyes with the transition shade, and I've blended it nicely to the point that I like, now I'm going to go into Hit Snooze from the Milani palette, and I'm going to use another defining crease brush from that new Real Techniques brush set that I got, and I'm going to put it into the corner of my eye. And you see that I kind of pull the skin up just a little bit, very, very gently, because of course I am over 40, I'm 43, so I have a little bit loose skin. So just gently pull up the skin, and as you can see, I'm just popping it right into the corner. Same thing with this more hooded eye, I have to do the same thing, pull up the skin and place it into that corner. I also use the transition shade to see where I need to stop as well, because I use the transition shade to create that symmetry between my eyes. So it helps give me the idea of where I'm placing my eyeshadow so it isn't too high compared to the other side. And you'll see that I noticed that my right eye, was lower than my left eye. So I went in and popped a little bit more, a bit higher than I would on the left side. And now I'm gonna go ahead and blend it into the crease with the defining crease brush. So I just blend, blend, blend. Now that I'm satisfied with the symmetry that I've built with the eyeshadow between both of my eyes and have more of a lifted look to my eye, I'm going to go ahead and take that Real Techniques definer brush, and I'm going to go into Hit Snooze, and I'm going to line underneath my eye. Then once I've lined underneath my eye with Hit Snooze, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with Offline, just to mix those two colors together in the same way that I did with my eyeshadow. Okay, another tip for anyone with extremely asymmetrical eyes, the next step that I do is I take the Hit Snooze again, and if you notice, I start at my bottom lashes and I use my bottom lashes to help connect the bottom lashes up to create a little bit of a wing, and I darken up that wing. So I start with my right asymmetrical eye, which you saw, and then I just go over and I do a little tiny bit with my less hooded eye on the left side. And then I go ahead and then again just blend that out so I don't see any harsh lines as I drew that line up to help create that wing and connect the bottom lash line to the top of the eye. Now I'm going to go into Weak Ender with my ring finger and place that color onto my mobile lid. I will start with my right eye and I place this more on to the upper part of my mobile lid. So pretty much I try to get this as high as I can without ruining the crease color and the other colors that I've created. And then when I place it on my less hooded eye, I actually put it lower on that hooded eye. It may not seem like I have, because of course you can really see my mobile lid on my left side than you can my right side, but that at least creates a bit more symmetry, especially when I'm talking. Obviously, if you see me just stationary, you can definitely see the asymmetry still. However, if I'm talking and I'm moving and I'm animated, then it's not as noticeable. So that's just another tip for those of you like me who have those extremely asymmetrical eyes and you're trying to build a bit more of that symmetry between the eyes. Now I'm going in and using my wonderful black liquid liner pen. So I'm using the NYX Hella Fine black liquid liner pen in Blackest Black. I love black eyeliner. I don't think people should be scared of black eyeliner because you don't have to look wild with it. When I place it onto my eyes, as you can see, and I use a magnifying mirror, I do a very, very, very thin line right along my eyelash line. And what it does is it really helps bring your look together, one, but it also helps your eyelashes look even blacker and thicker when you put on mascara. Another asymmetrical eye tip, when you are placing your black eyeliner or any eyeliner onto your less hooded eye, make the line a bit thicker. So it doesn't seem like I'm making it thicker, but I start off with it nice and thin right along my eyelash line like I did with my hooded eye, but then I start to add just a little bit more thickness to it than I would to my more hooded eye. So with my more hooded eye, I will keep the liner as close to the lash line as possible. With my less hooded eye, I will try to start to thicken that line up. Now on to mascara. I am going to use the Maybelline Sensational Lash Mascara. You can see the top is chewed off. My dog chewed it off, but this is a new mascara. Thank goodness he didn't, end up chewing the entire thing. And I'm just going ahead and looking down into my magnifying mirror and placing the mascara onto my eyes. I really like this mascara. As you can see, look at how much thicker and longer my eyelashes are already looking. And you can also see what I was talking about with that black eyeliner. All it is just that nice black thin line along the lash line, which really helps look natural and also helps make those lashes look even better once I apply this mascara. I've got to say, I love mascara. Look at the difference just a little bit of mascara makes once you add it to your eyes. Now for the bottom lashes, I don't want to forget about those. I'm going to use a different Maybelline Great Lash with a smaller spoolie, and I'm going to place that on my bottom lashes. Now for brows, I'm going to go ahead and take my brow brush out of my Real Techniques eyeshadow brush set and just brush up my natural brows. And then I'm going to use the NYX Snatch and Fluff eyebrow pencil in blonde to fill my brows in. Now to add some dimension to the face, I'm going to use the Milani bronzer in Sunkissed, and I'm just using my Lancome blush brush. To me, it doesn't really matter what brush I use for this, just a little bit fluffier brush. And I'm going to go ahead and bronze the perimeter of my face to add some color back into the skin. Now for the cheeks, I take the same brush and I just pinch it and I just try to create a little bit of contouring with the bronzer. And then as you can see, I just kind of place it along my cheekbone, starting at the top of my ear as the line. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. Once I also use it to contour my nose a little bit, as well as just kind of darken up the nose and make it look like I have a sun-kissed look to the face. Once I blend out the cheeks and add some warmth, it's important to also kind of take it along the jowls. Especially if you are over 40, we get the little jelly starting to come down a little bit. And then I just kind of take it down my neck and underneath my chin. Now to add a pretty flush pinkness to the cheeks, I'm taking the Milani Tea Rose Blush and the Real Techniques blush brush. And I'm going to go ahead and just dip a little bit of that, remove the excess, and then I like to start just above my contour or my bronzer at the tops of my cheeks along my cheekbone. So it's important, especially as someone who is over 40, you want to go ahead and start at the top of the cheek. You don't want to smile and then start with your blush there, because once you're not smiling anymore, then the blush will kind of be down at the kind of the bottom of your cheeks. So as you look, that's already building some color, some soft glow. Here I am smiling, but if you notice, I'm not putting them on the fronts of my cheeks. I'm helping to see when I smile kind of the very, very top of where I place the blush. And then when I'm not smiling anymore, it kind of helps bring that all together, and you kind of see there's some dimension and color to my face. Then to soften the look, I take my beauty sponge and just go ahead and do a bit of a tapping to help kind of press it all into the skin, the bronzer as well as the blush. To finish off the look, I am moving on to lipstick. I'm using the L'Oreal Satin Finish Lipstick in 140 Mauve. Now I'm taking my e.l.f. lip liner in 666 Brandy Wine, I think is what it's called. It seems like it's a dark color, but I really love this e.l.f. lip liner. I've used it for years, since I was a teenager, and I feel like it can almost go with any color. But the way that I use it is I don't line my lips first. I put my lipstick on first, and then I line over the top of the lipstick, and it helps just define the lips, blends the two colors together very nicely. Okay, now here you could stop. You could see there's a nice shimmer to this lipstick, but I'm going to go ahead and just take a mauve lip gloss that I have, since this lipstick is mauve, and just pop it over the top for some extra added shine, and just makes your lips look a little bit more luscious. And there you have it, the finished look. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you would give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you have asymmetrical eyes like I do, and I don't mean just asymmetrical, extremely asymmetrical eyes like I do, I really hope that this helped give you some tips and tricks for helping them look a bit more symmetrical with the eyeshadow look that I did today. Well, with that being said, I will see you again in the next video. Bye!